Anyway, this week we did. This is Jack Spray being joined by Maria Johnson and
I thought it's supposed to be a middle name. You always give me last names.
Garcia, Gaston by Maria Ariel.
No one records like Maria Gaston. No one.
Good luck with that.
Edits like Maria Gaston. Who's the real villain in that movie? Just saying.
Honestly, Belle.
Right?
I hope she dies.
If I could live rent-free in a big old house that the furniture
this
took care of
bitch
me.
had no appreciation for what she had. I think
she's like, oh no, I have to eat dinner with him.
This
5-course meal.
Listen.
So this week we're covering.
Henry V had 4 wives, who in retrospect would have appreciated to eat dinner with a beast instead of their outcome. So
today we picked Beauty and the Beast. No.
No, today we're doing Hook.
So we officially started just like out of nowhere.
Well, we're good at that.
Trash Panda
Movie Club, welcome.
Yeah. You should know where you're at.
You come here at this point for the nonsense and the shit show.
Jack picked this one.
I did. And in retrospect, out of the deep and depressed sadness, I regret it.
I told you at the end of Jurassic Park, I was like, are you ready for childhood trauma? And you're like, it's not that bad.
I thought that Rufio's Triple Hawk was going to cover up some deep-seated weird shit. Yeah, Rufio, big crop top guy.
It's in my notes.
It's it was a trip.
Right?
It was a time.
When was the last time you actually sat and watched it and not did something in the background?
And did something about
you're like, I did that this time. I don't pay attention. Well, I don't care about our podcast.
That's actually mildly. No,
I only watched this one once. I
tried to watch this at least 95% of the time.
We're all so proud of you.
Thank you. No cocktail breaks.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, it was a big adventure.
I was probably texting you the whole time, though.
I also watched it at 7 a.m. But
oh, yeah, I was texting you the whole time then.
But it was...
oh, that's when you were when you were talking about the weird romances or whatever.
Yeah. We'll
get there.
Times were had.
We'll get there.
Times were had.
It was unnecessary. It was really unnecessary.
It was weird. It was.
I like this movie, but
I don't want to get too deep into it before we get started. But
it's as an adult,
it was 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, it could have been 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Yes.
Because hashtag I hate the Lost Boys.
All of them?
Oh,
they're really weird.
Well,
we'll get there. We'll get there. Stop.
But, hot damn!
We're 5 minutes in. We're like,
kill it all, kill everyone, just nuke the movie, just go to How I Learned to Love the Bomb and say fuck off and die.
I agree.
It was nostalgia-y.
Yeah. But as a kid, you appreciate different things.
My son and I watched it. I want to say I tried to get Ted to watch it because everybody knows Ted.
Yeah.
Nobody knows Ted yet, but you will. But
Allie,
his name's
whatever.
Ted. It's fine. Ted and Allie, these are our children. We exploit them. And I would make the argument that we watched 15 months ago, maybe, and he was like,
"That's weirdly specific."
Into a
year. It was exactly
on April 2nd.
How many months old are you?
A bit.
A bit.
Too much for the math in this moment. But he was into it, but not too into it. I've tried to get him to watch Swiss Family Robinson, which he gave 0 fucks about.
Allie loves that movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she has culture, and my idiot kid has
she's
none.
Sophisticated for sure.
Yeah, Ted, not some. I can't even get him to watch Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier, because he hates Disney and he's a monster and he doesn't even love his dad.
Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier.
Let's go. Let's pick that one next.
We need to do 2 movies at a time because we're getting behind.
What? We'll do Davy Crockett, then we'll do Davy Crockett and the River Pirates because fuck that. Let's just do it live.
Yeah, that would be so much fun. I would do that.
Don't tempt me with a good time. He liked it, but he wasn't super into it, so he was kind of passively watching it. I was more into it, and that was probably the first time I'd seen it in 5 years.
Yeah.
And so at that point a year ago, I was like, oh, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then I watched it alone, and I was like, this is weirder.
Really weird. It's uncomfortable.
I didn't expect it to do the weirdness.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
do you want to get into it then?
Yeah. Let's just go. Who wants foreplay? Let's just get after it.
Right. I know. Okay. So we start with kids watching a play of Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Peter Pan. We're not going to go over it.
We're not spoilering Peter Pan. Although, fun fact number 1, I only have 2.
I have one.
I have 0 this week. It's shit. It seems like a lot of the characters, the character development, and the plot are just riffing off of between like 1900 and 1915 or 1910.
Yeah.
They just wrote like 30 Peter Pans.
Yeah.
And then they just didn't give a shit until the silent movie came out in 40 or 35, whatever it was. And then
You don't even have your fun fact. You don't even know the dates.
And then the Disney one came out in 53. A lot of people know about the Disney one in 53. There was technically a silent one. Let's calm down.
There's one in Disney?
Yeah.
Oh
Have you
my
ever
God,
heard about
no
it?
way.
It's the racist one. It's where the Indians do stuff.
Oh,
you might
okay.
remember the
yeah,
Indians
yeah.
from such
Yeah.
films as Not Fucking Hook. It's racist. But
There's a lot of fat shaming in this movie.
there's a lot of fat shaming. It's tough. That's tough. You could still make fun of fat kids in the 90s.
But it was really... Well, I think one
Not
of the kids... Isn't one of the kids in Heavyweights?
I've never heard of that movie. Much less seen it.
Okay, we'll talk off air.
We aren't doing 90s movies.
No.
But-
And we're not doing Steven Spielberg.
Oh, we're done with Steven Spielberg. We have borderline on being a Steven Spielberg fan club, and I think we're done with that. Is that
For
fair?
now.
For hopefully.
For
do you
now.
have a pick? Do you have a pick?
We picked the next movie.
What do we pick? Was I not paying attention?
We picked it mutually.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What was it?
The Princess Bride.
Oh, no way. I love that movie. I'm so happy about our pick. What a good pick.
What a good
Steven Spielberg, not loosely associated with that at all.
Because then I have the book.
Oh, twofer.
Yeah.
You and Jolly Roger, that motherfucker. That's technically a teen
I
romance
know.
novel.
I'm just going to put both of them. Like,
Hey,
just one episode
shout out,
for both.
In the words of Bussin' with the Boys, shout out, no free shout out. Go check out the Jolly Roger podcast.
It's not what it's called.
What is it called?
Jolly Reader.
Oh, fuck off.
It's a pun.
It's close.
The Jolly
Check out
Reader.
the Jolly Reader, Reader podcast, where you can listen to Maria do teen romance novels.
They're not romance or murder mystery.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, this whole time I thought you were doing that Fabio thing.
No. And that's not teen, first of all. Second of all, murder mysteries.
He
This
lo-
is the worst advertisement I've ever not paid for.
Well, you should see a Tim Dillon podcast. He lost his shine for me when he got hit in the nose by the bird. That was when he came crashing down to earth.
Oh my God. We're never going to get into this.
No. So we start off with
Kids watching the play.
the kids in the play.
And Maggie knows, that's the daughter. Maggie knows none of her lines.
All right. I'd like to start with, if we may, a little, I don't know if it's foreshadowing or just a debate on what this is. So Moira Angela Darling,
Yes.
Grandma Maggie Smith,
Granny.
Granny Maggie Smith, who was 56 when she shot this movie,
Yes.
who is portraying somebody her age now,
93 or something, yeah.
which if you've seen Downton Abbey, she looks weirdly like Maggie Smith in Downton Abbey in this. So good on 1990s costume design.
Yes.
And she is the Wendy from the Peter Pan novels.
Because they said they would make up stories, supposedly, quote unquote, and then the next door neighbor was the author.
So the next door neighbor was the author. That was my question. Was somewhere in
They
here
say it.
someone was an author?
Yeah, it was their next door neighbor, and he was like so fascinated with the stories that
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, actually, because I was like, one of these people was the author, and I can't figure out
it's
who's
her
getting
neighbor.
royalties.
Okay, can we get back to the play.
Yeah.
Focus.
Sorry.
Okay, so we have Robin Williams as the dad. He's Peter.
Uh-huh.
We have the mom whose name I don't know or care.
She exists.
And that is Grandma Wendy's granddaughter.
Okay.
Yes. And then we have Maggie, who's Robin Williams' daughter. And we have Jack, who's the son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Maggie's in the play, and then the family's sitting there watching or whatever, and the dad has to take his stupid fucking phone call.
Wait.
And he doesn't even leave the play.
All right. So
He should have walked out.
I will make the argument for the dad.
No.
For the dad.
No.
For the dad.
Nope.
In 1991, the cell phone etiquette did not exist. Cell phone etiquette did not come into existence until, I would say, 2003.
Yeah.
When was the first time you saw your dad have a cell phone?
My dad had a phone in his car.
Oh, your dad was rich.
My dad was an architect.
Oh, my dad.
I remember the first laptop he brought home. We were the only people on the street with
I
a laptop.
stole a laptop from my dad's law firm, kind of, but it was like 10 years older than what they were, and I played Minesweeper on it, and I still do it on my phone to this day. I think my dad got his first flip phone in 2000 and let's say 3 or 4. He never put a contact in because he had to memorize, so he just only dialed numbers, and he would charge it like every 5 hours on the kitchen counter next to the George Foreman grill.
Classic.
These are my cell phone memories. My grandparents had a car phone. I do not know how it worked.
My dad commuted like an hour to work too, and they always had to be like in contact.
that
And then he
probably
had a
helps.
BlackBerry and all that. Okay, so so he takes a phone call. The main
All right.
point of this is that they're dedicating an entire hospital wing to Granny Wendy. So they're gonna fly to London the next day to
Go to
it, but he has to have
inaugural-
some meeting or whatever
Because
first.
he's a hedge fund manager.
Yeah, I
or
had no
a
idea.
Corporate pirate.
No, he's a
or
lawyer. Remember, he says that like 50 times.
Well, everybody's a lawyer on Wall Street.
No, but I'm just saying that's like the thing. But anyways, he agrees to meet him in the AM, even though the son's like, yeah, I have a baseball game. You promised. It's the biggest game of the year.
So I'm not athletic, but you come from a family of athletic people.
Yeah,
so that's traumatic for you.
Yeah, my brother played college baseball.
Okay.
He has cerebral palsy,
Oh.
so beast. And I grew up on the baseball
And
field.
that was before affirmative action?
Yeah,
Or
I don't know.
what am I thinking of? Not affirmative action.
Yeah. I mean, it's not severe.
When you were nice to handicapped people?
Yeah.
When did that come around? 3 years ago?
I don't know. I mean, he just has a limp. He's a pitcher.
Canceled. We're canceled.
I know. You know what I used to do, my brother? We would make up Indian names because that's what you did in the 90s.
I'm 1,000% we're canceled
And
now.
I was Princess Talks a lot, and I would call him Crazy Turtle Wounded Knee, and then you get mad at me. I go, "What are you gonna do? Limp after me?" And I'd run.
Oh, first of all, phenomenal story that will never get heard.
I'm editing and I'm leaving it in.
Okay, let's go. Please don't. Please
I'll
don't
put it on the
ju-
Patreon so people have
Please
to pay
don't
for
judge
it.
me for the fact that she's a terrible bigot, but also kind of a fun story. I had a similar thing as a child because I had watched Davy Crockett King of the Wild Frontier, and there's something about Indians being barefoot, and so I walked on rocks a lot as a child barefoot to try to strengthen up my feet and be tough like an Indian.
I went as Pocahontas.
Because I had an admiration for the culture.
I went as Pocahontas one year for Halloween. I went as Tinkerbell too, by the way. And
Oh.
then my mom was trying to get my brother to go as Peter Pan, and he was like, "No, I'm going to go as Hook." So he just beat me like the whole way trick or treating with his hook and stuff.
Well, you did call him Limpslot McTurtle, so that's probably tough but fair.
Still limps to this day. Okay, so the dad's at his office or whatever, and he sends the intern to go videotape the son's game, and they have the shootout with their flip phones off their belts.
Dude, the flip phone thing is wild. Their
belt.
So this must have been shot in 89, 90.
The movie's
It came
91.
out in 91,
yeah.
so it must
yeah.
have been shot 89, 90. Cell phones would have been like a just straight up Wall Street thing.
They literally make a huge deal out of
They
it.
make a huge... It's kind of cool when you think about it from back then, but it's also like weirdly out of place.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if somebody had a cell phone holster right now, you would make fun of them. And if they tried to duel somebody with their cell phone holster, you would just run in the opposite direction and assume they're a predator.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
So
But all his coworkers are like, we know you're afraid of flying, so like, try not to die. Ah!
that's super tough.
Yeah, that was really weird. But anyway, so it's going back and forth between that and Jack's game. And the rest of the family is like, where the hell is he? And Jack strikes out like a big fat loser because his dad's not there. Biggest game of his life. He's also like an outfielder. He's not even an infielder.
He got destroyed.
Loser.
Okay, well, first of all, there's some.
Loser.
Alex Gordon was an outfielder. And we love Alex Gordon here in Nebraska.
I'm not from Nebraska.
Well, Kansas City Royals.
And that's
You've lived in two of the
I know.
states. It's just to be fair,
No.
if you've ever been disappointed by a parent, which is sort of a theme in this movie.
I've only
of being-
disappointed my parent.
Oh, well, I've disappointed my parents constantly. They've also been technically there. But at some point you look around and you go, is my parent there? Oh.
My parents showed up.
Huh?
My parents always showed up.
Well,
Even my dad,
you
who
were-
was super busy.
You were loved and treasured.
That's why I'm just like perfect the way. Look how normal I turned out.
Well, I'm sarcastic and funny because of the trauma.
That's what I was saying.
Hey, welcome to the first 4 minutes of the podcast. We can't wait to
20
get
minutes.
into. Welcome to the first 20 minutes of the podcast. We can't wait to get to hour 2.5 of this sad childhood movie.
I know. Okay, we got to get to London. So the dad shows up way too late. Womp womp. Whatever. They fly to London on the Pan Am.
Which, fun fact number 2.
Oh, that's it?
Do you know it?
No, I don't know.
Is this your fact?
Maybe.
Oh, no, I have more, but
okay.
that was an expression.
Go ahead.
Pan Am shut down operations the week before this movie came out.
Oh, shit.
So, rough placement.
Yeah. So the dad's Peter, afraid of flying. Okay, mine's coming up. My fun fact. So the plane's having like super major turbulence, and the captain's like, "This is your captain speaking, blah, blah, blah. Don't freak out," right? Mm-hmm. You know whose voice that is?
Yes. It's Dustin Hoffman's.
Yeah, who is Hook, who's
That's
also
your-
the captain. That was
That's
my
your
fun
fun
fact.
fact. That was it? We did it?
That was a good one.
It was a fine one. I mean, technically, I have funner facts. So here, I have some thoughts. As somebody who's afraid of flying,
Are you really?
I'm afraid of flying.
Chicken.
Yeah. It makes me nervous. I don't want to fly over bodies of water. For some reason in my head, if you're over land, you technically might crash land versus
You'll just
water.
explode. Water, it's safer
Which
probably.
I think it's technically safer in water, but in my head, it's probably that Jaws thing where they all get eaten by sharks.
So we're going to have to drive to every live show.
Every live show we will be driving. We will do lots of mini live shows in towns of 1,000 people. But turbulence doesn't bother me.
It's just being on the plane in general.
It's the thought in general of being in a tin can in the sky that fucks with me. Turbulence, I will fly with people who love flying, and turbulence comes up, and I'll be like, yeah, we're good. I don't give a shit. Like, this is
No,
fine.
that doesn't bother me.
Give me another drink. And these people are like, oh, my God, we're going to die. It's going to crash.
He
It's
literally
so
thought
rough.
they were going to die.
Yeah.
But that was pretty severe turbulence. Like, the electricity wasn't even working
It looked
correctly.
rough. But also, I don't know what our target audience is here. I think we're still too early to tell.
Whoever. Hi.
But if you're a parent, you've probably been in that moment where your kid's being sassy and just banging a baseball up against something or obnoxiously and then break something and you just lose your shit.
First, you have to talk about the picture he draws.
Oh, yeah. We're doing all the childhood trauma today.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So, Jack, do you want me to take it?
Yeah.
So,
please.
Jack, his sister's like, look at this picture that Jack drew. And it's like the plane's on fire. There's sharks in the water that they're flying over. There's 4 people. 3 of them have a parachute. The one who doesn't is Peter because the kid's pissed. He didn't go to
this is the
game.
same day as the game, right? Or the next day, same day?
No, it should be same day because remember morning of and then they were flying out. Yeah.
That's fair.
And Jack's being sassy
I'd
as
be
fuck.
pissed too, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
You know, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and his dad's like, I forget, I didn't write it down, but that stupid thing where he's like, my promise is my soul or whatever. I forget. He says that a couple times, and he literally never keeps promise ever. But anyways, so the baseball, you can take the baseball.
What?
The baseball thing.
So he's throwing the baseball up against the roof of the plane, and he hits this safety mask thing, and they all drop, and they scare the shit out of Peter. And it's just
he freaks.
He freaks out. Well, okay.
He's like, stop acting like a child. This kid is 10.
And then the kid's like, I am a child. Well, to be fair,
that's what I would say though.
I also definitely would say that's my kid. So, like at some point, I think we've all just become Peter.
Okay, but okay.
How many times did you undulate between identifying with the kid and the dad, having started this as a kid and now watching as a parent?
Not the dad, but with Hook when he starts later on when he starts explaining like your parents.
What?
No, he's like talking about when the parents, he's like, your parents used to stay up late and blah, 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 blah. You know, when he's teaching them? We'll get there.
Uh-huh.
Just we'll get there.
Okay.
They get to London. And
so they get to London.
This is the part where they explain that Grandma Wendy's like sort of the real Wendy because the next door neighbor was the author. That's how I know that part.
Okay.
But when they knock on the door, well, first of all, the dad's like manhandling his son constantly. I can't stand it. He's like grabbing him, stand up straight, spit out your gum.
I think that's technically your trauma and not like a
my
thing.
trauma's showing shit.
I think
my dad's dead. It doesn't matter.
Have you ever decked your kid? Like just done one of those, like to the back of their head? To just,
you know,
like,
Allie's
up?
never even been in timeout.
You're kidding.
No, she puts herself in timeout. When she feels bad, she goes, I have to go to the calm down corner. I'll come back and talk to you when I feel like a big girl. And then she sits down and then she comes back and she's like, I'm really sorry for blah, 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 blah. And
I am literally traumatized by your kid's behavior.
She literally came up to me the other day and she goes,
shit.
Did you know other kids go to timeout? She was like so surprised.
I'm also a bad dad, so I don't really time out the shit out of Ted, but I do. We do the occasional deck. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What?
That's a dad son thing, though.
In what world is that what you think a good choice is?
Oh, we just
a
sass
lot.
a lot, me and her, as you know.
We do the what in the world are like what went through your head at this exact moment that
Tell
you
the girl
thought
up next time.
you thought this was the choice? I identified with Peter significantly more in this movie than I ever have. It's tough.
That's why you.
Tough.
So
probably move that to the end of the
right.
pod. I started out at the beginning where I seemed like an asshole.
So they've already listened to 3 episodes.
Oh, then they
know.
It's
so
a
they
secret.
so they ring the doorbell and Toodles answers and just screams at them. It's snowing and then slams the door. I love that part.
Well,
and he can't find his marbles. That comes back around, and then we awkwardly meet Granny Wendy, whose only rule is no growing up, and her only rule really should have been keep the damn windows shut. But
yeah, Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
Who you will all know probably, maybe, potentially from Downton Abbey as the Dowager Countess.
Harry Potter.
Or Professor McGonagall.
Thank you.
But I think she was wearing young makeup. Or maybe we just watched her 70s in Harry Potter. And then she was playing an 85-year-old in... You ever watched Downton Abbey?
No.
Oh!
I know.
Show. I watched a lot of weird shit when
I have
Ted
a lot
was
of
baby.
free time when I take notes and read books and like run our entire podcast and mine. Well, you just get to watch the movie one time and then have like a fun fact.
It's part of the charm. Everybody can identify to the slacking partner. I'm a trope.
Yay. I'm keeping us on track because we'll never get done with this episode.
We're going to do great.
So we talked about this before we started. Peter on his business call and the kids are being insane.
Have you ever taken a business call with IOs?
Well, first of all, I would never ever do that to my dad because that would be terrifying. 2, you really think Allie would bother me at all? She'd be like, Mom, I made you a bracelet and I love you so much I sat quietly and I kept the dogs quiet too.
I don't think that's how children work.
No, she's not a child. She's a Benjamin Button or something.
I have, in fact, not... maybe cut this part. I haven't for sure done that bad. But
they were being horrible.
But I have taken work calls where Ted really wanted to tell me about something significantly inconsequential, like what his Legos were doing at that moment.
These kids had lamps on their heads and like running around screaming.
It's a tough
in a mansion. Why the fuck do they have to be in the same room as their parents?
Well, because kids want to be in the same room as parents.
I'm just saying.
Parents are like the sun to their kids' orbit. You're just getting crawled on and tackled if you're.
Sometimes I literally be like, I need no one to be touching me right now. Like, just, it's too much.
I say that, and then he puts his finger in my... He's a funny little fella, and I love him dearly.
I can't wait until they're older. Play this at their college or their high school graduation party.
You have no idea.
So, before the adults leave, the dad freaks out about the window being open in the kids' room, and Maggie's like, the mean window washer man stole Jack's baseball or whatever. That's Hook, whatever, who cares? Peter gives Jack a pocket watch. All this comes back around.
Yep.
And all you have to know about the dedication dinner, as in my opinion, is that Wendy took Peter in and found parents to adopt him. And she did that for like a bunch of people.
Which was from one of the original books in the 1900s. There was a plot where, and it comes back to Peter escapes from his parents when he's an infant, which...
We'll get there.
Makes no sense.
We'll get there.
But...
I hate that part.
It's so silly. But then, yeah, he gets adopted. Basically, Lost Boys in real life, Lost Boys in Imagine.
Right. So then the window flies open, whatever. The kids get abducted by Hook. We know because he's dragging his hook through the... You don't see it, but he's like dragging it through the house or whatever. And he leaves a note that says, Dear Peter, your presence is required at the request of your children. Blah, blah, blah. Your friend, whatever. Your nemesis, whatever. And the police show up and they're like, I think the abduction was a prank, so don't worry about it.
See who the head police chief was?
Oh, he's someone famous.
Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I knew it.
Yeah, tonight.
So close.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, Granny basically sits down with Peter and she's like, get your head out of your ass. You're the real Peter Pan. Like, remember who you are.
They have a weird, borderline incesty moment.
Yeah, she explains that they were in love when they were young. And she was like...
As one does.
She was like... what did she say? She said something like, you only had eyes for me or whatever. No other girl caught your fancy. And then I got old as shit and you were over it. So then you, like, fucking married my granddaughter.
So he must be, like, 30 in this movie. Granny is 56. Or I guess she's
she's
older,
97.
but she's 56. Oh, so he's, like, 55.
They're very old parents.
Okay.
I think.
I kept bouncing back and forth between the fact that Maggie Smith was 56. And
No, she's actually supposed to be 97 in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's her granddaughter is the wife.
Okay, I'm putting this all together. Yeah, no, that tracks much more.
So, like, long story short, he would come back from Neverland and see Wendy, and
they're late 40s.
Yeah,
they're late 40s,
and she would age and age and age, and then finally he stopped going back to Neverland because he
wasn't into wrinkly chicks.
We'll get there, but the granddaughter.
So he was looking for taut chicks.
Maybe I'll just throw this part in there. So he meets it because they explain this all in a backflash, but he sees the granddaughter and he's like, I'm going to kiss her while she's sleeping and then fucking be a creep.
But not just nimble kiss.
No.
Mouth kiss.
Ugh, that was weird. And then while his like ex-girlfriend essentially is standing there watching.
mean grandma.
It's a whole thing.
It's different.
And I said, okay, so this part where they're like super in love or whatever, I said, even as a kid, I thought this was fucked up. Like, even as a kid, I was like, I don't like this.
Yes.
Okay, so Peter decides to get drunk because his kids are missing. And that's when Tinkerbell comes in and starts kicking his ass. The Firefly from Hell.
Yeah, that's what they called her. They called her Tinker Hell on set.
Yep. I sent you that one.
You did. Was that a fun fact number 2? That's a Maria fun fact number 2.
I know.
Tinker Hell.
And he doesn't believe in fairies or whatever. This is that's from the books too.
Well, she's in a Barbie house and they're like arguing. It's really funny.
She dies. Yeah, it is really funny. But anyways, long story short, she takes him to Neverland because we'll never get through this. We just like...
Yeah.
So he wakes up on the pirate part of a Neverland and he's like super in denial. And he's like, attacked by pirates who try to steal his shoes and stuff.
Great camps all the way around.
Yeah, I know it.
This movie's good.
And we get to meet the lady killer Smee with the prostitutes.
Yeah.
I love Smee. And he introduces Captain James Hook.
I cannot remember the name of the actor who played Smee, but apparently when him and Dustin Hoffman were recording it or like practicing at some point, they figured out, oh, we're just gay lovers.
Yeah.
And then they just decided to play it as two old queens, quote unquote.
They killed it.
They killed it.
Especially in that dinner scene.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, we're not there
It's
yet,
like
though.
watching The Birdcage, but with better costumes.
Right? Oh, can we talk about Captain Hook's eyebrows for half a second?
Sure, go ahead.
They're a mustache on his eyes. Like
Are
a
they?
curled up mustache, both of them.
I think I did notice that.
Yeah. I even knew that as a kid. But anyways, Hook's like, I'm going to get revenge because Peter cut off his hand and fed it to a crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and captured his kids a billion years later. And
Once I could find it.
I want to have a war or whatever. But like, who's the real villain? Cutting off hands? Rude. Anyways.
I mean, Hook.
Go ahead.
Never mind.
Nope,
It's a
go ahead.
spoiler.
Oh, okay. So he can sense a stranger in the crowd. And it's like the guy.
Somebody who doubted him.
It's the guy who's really a female.
Glenn Close.
Yes. I knew that one.
Glenn Close going in the boo box.
Yep. Where they throw scorpions
Which boo
in.
box did low-key fuck me up as a kid.
That was messed up.
It's not my favorite.
No.
Not my first draft choice.
So Peter's kids are in a net, like a pirate ship net, whatever.
Cargo net.
Yep. And thank you. And Peter sucks at saving them.
Sure. So he has to climb up the mast
I hate
and
this.
out.
And he has to, all he has to do is touch his kid's fingertips. And he's like,
Well, first of all,
he's a chicken shit.
0% chance that Hook will let them go.
You're telling me, though, you wouldn't just jump on that net to get Ted?
Probably.
I would have.
Probably.
And he doesn't even reach out, and the son's
The
like,
movie
don't
has
give up
some
on
recurring
us.
themes about both how much do your kids annoy you, and then also how much would you do to save your kids.
Right.
It
My
touches
favorite
both.
part, though,
It
is
touches
Maggie,
both.
the daughter's like, Mom would have done it.
Yeah, Maddie's a bitch.
She's a mama's girl.
Yeah.
It's Allie. Whatever.
She's talking mad shit.
So Peter tries to write Captain Hook a check,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets shot out of his hands because whatever. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then he gets kicked off of the walking the plank by accident.
Oh, yeah.
And he decides to randomly make out with
With
every
I
mermaid
have
for like
that.
20 minutes.
I have that. I said, oh wait, okay. I said he makes out with some mermaids, which is very confusing as a kid.
It wasn't confusing. It just weirdly had no.
It's drawn out. It's really drawn out.
He could have made out with one mermaid. I don't even know that he needed to have a foursome with the mermaids.
And they put him in a shell, and then just up a mountain he goes.
A little clam, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and also, like, Tinkerbell negotiates with Hook. Like, give me 3 days to make him not a bitch, and you can have your war or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then he ends up with, like, the penguins in the jungle of the Lost Boys.
Because it turns out that Hook is like the Halliburton of Neverland. He just wants a war constantly.
Right? So, the thing that I have a problem with is, like, so Tinkerbell is chilling in her clock house with the Lost Boys, and she's like, oh, I thought you were dead. So what? So if she thought he was dead from drowning, then wouldn't, like, Hook and everyone else think he's dead? So why the fuck are the kids still alive?
It's tough.
Right?
It's tough.
But my favorite thing is he calls the Lost Boys area, he calls it the Lord of the Flies preschool.
There are some really good, like, subtle jokes if you can get them.
Yeah. Oh, I had subtitles.
The Mr. Shmee part starts with Good Morning Neverland as a shout out to Good Morning Vietnam.
Yep.
There's some good ones in there.
So the Lost Boys are pumped until they see, like, he's an old fat grandpa. This is where the fat shaming really picks up.
Oh, I always thought it was the bowling ball part at the end.
Oh my God. Yeah, I have that too. No, but they call him fat like 1 billion times.
Peter?
Yeah, they even have the whole song about it when he's working out.
Yeah, it's not quite a Rocky montage, is
I
it?
know. No. Do you want to take on Rufio? We talked about
Rufio, majestic, mulatto in color. Is that right? Did I use mulatto right? I don't really know what mulatto
I'm leaving
means.
it in.
All right, I'm probably going. Rufio is every 90 kid's dream. He's got a triple mohawk. He
Flat.
wears leather,
Ab.
a crop
Crop top.
top. He's just living a truth.
He's got an earring, I'm pretty sure, too.
Oh, there's no way he doesn't.
Yeah.
He might have his belly button pierced.
Oh,
He's-
definitely.
He's just a trooper. Rufio is what
This
everybody...
was also very confusing as a child.
Rufio is what everybody wanted the mean friend at the end of the block who liked them to be.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's like, if you think this fat sack of shit is Peter, cross this line. And Peter's like, sure, I'll go over there.
Throwback to the Alamo for keeping in any part of our
Yeah.
David Crockett King of the Wild Frontier conversation.
Yes. So, whatever. This is like a super, like, iconic scene, but it's kind of like lame to explain on the podcast when the kid's like feeling his face or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
see if he's like the real Peter Pan.
yeah, and he's like,
inside
oh,
or
there
something.
you are, or whatever. The kids are really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Throughout.
It's weird.
But like happy feelings all around. Rufio's pissed. Whatever.
Is this when we start the
We're going back
first Peter Pan song experience?
Not yet. We're going back to Hook because he has an epiphany and he goes to shoot himself. I love this scene.
Two old queens.
Do you want to take it?
Oh, I hadn't thought of it that like I've always sort of thought that they were like grand lovers, but like you don't as a kid you don't really know.
In the 90s
like
it was not.
Right. I mean that's like a 2015 thought. But once I read that beforehand, I was like, oh, that's just good acting right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's just those when you think about it in that context, phenomenal.
Yes. But he goes so Hook goes to kill himself.
Kill me.
And he's like,
I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna really do it. I'm gonna do it this time. Don't you stop it. Don't you stop me. Stop me. Stop me. Don't you stop me. Stop me. What the fuck are you doing? Stop me.
And then Smee's like stuff in his face. He's like, oh shit. Like, okay, I'm sorry.
All right,
and he's like, don't ever scare me like that again.
Don't scare me like that thinking I might kill myself again.
That was so funny. But so he has an epiphany or whatever before he goes and kills himself. And then Smee has an apostrophe. So
about making the kids like him.
Yeah, so the plan is to get Pan's kids to like Hook as the ultimate revenge, which that is like
low key fucked up, but
yeah.
Great revenge.
And Hook's like, my idea. Okay, let's go.
No, that fucks.
Typical man, whatever. So this is where the Lost Boys are making Pan work out and seeing how fat he is, and they slingshot him to try to get him to fly and stuff.
I'm gonna be really honest about this whole thing. I didn't like the Lost Boys.
You said that like 15 times.
Their scenes superfluous. I think you could have taken every Lost Boys scene and cut it by 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And made the movie significantly better.
Yes.
There were like good parts and there were funny parts in it. But
Way
then there was
out.
also just very, 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 very long.
Kind of like our podcast.
Extra. Who gives a shit scenes. And it was just like, fucking kill me. Like, can we get to the part with James Hook again?
Yeah, so we do. We're just going to skip back to that, you and me.
That's the part we wanted.
So they're back on the boat.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so this is the part where Hook's teaching the kids in the classroom, and he's like, why do parents hate their kids? This is what I was saying where I relate to Hook. When he was like, oh, your mom doesn't read you like a story to go to bed because she loves you. She wants you to go the fuck asleep.
Hook's kind of a dick.
It's true, though.
Well, yeah.
And then he's like, your mom and dad used to like stay up and have the time of their life, and now you're like, I want a cookie. I need water. It's true. It's all true.
To Ted about his cousins. I always say like, hey, buddy, you're 6 now. He's 2.
He's not even 6. He's 5.
5 and 51 weeks. I will do anything in my power to make your cousin not talk. So you need to get on board with that whatever it is, we want him asleep and silent.
Yeah.
And we will do anything it takes to not make him start screaming.
Mine just passes out, turns back to me, says she loves me, calls it a day. It's awesome.
That's not how boys work.
I know it. So Maggie gets an F, and she loses her shit. It's just an F on a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. And they drag her off. We don't see her for 3 days.
She's the Allie Rose of this play.
I know it. That really bothers me, though, that they legit, like, you don't see Maggie for 3 fucking days. Like, what happened to that kid?
Prison.
So, okay, this is when Hook starts talking to Jack, and he's like, why didn't your dad go to your game? Why is he a piece of shit? I would never do that to you. And
Hi, Captain James Hook, leader of the pirate gang, would never mistreat you.
He did pretty good.
That's not how pirates work at all.
He's really nice. He legit likes Jack, though, I think. Okay.
Dustin Hoffman's a great actor.
I know it. So, the dinner scene with the Lost Boys. I used to love this scene when I was little.
I've always been confused by this scene.
They're using their imagination.
Well, yeah, but like at some point they do have to technically eat food.
Well, they also
and later
there's
on
also
they have
no
a fucking
time.
egg, and later on they have a fucking egg gun. So why can't they make a fried egg?
I know, I don't know, but there's no food, and then you have to like imagine it or
shoot
whatever.
Beans and rice or something out of one of the guns.
We're not there yet.
I'm just saying. Technically, they have food near there.
Okay. Well, they have penguins.
Yeah, I'd eat one of those.
I love penguins.
I'd eat one.
So Rufio and Pan get into a word war, a rap battle, if you will.
It was a rap battle.
And one of the insults was, "You're a nearsighted gynecologist." I had captions on.
Who said that?
Robin Williams.
Really?
Yeah. Weird. Yeah. I was like,
Are you sure?
Yes, I'll show it to you.
Oh, that's.
I paused it and I looked at it because
that's uncomfy.
Yeah, because they're going back and forth. They're like, "Oh, you're a fart sniffer" or whatever,
Yeah.
and then
Not better, but
and then that one came out, and I was like, "Oof." That's the only one I wrote down. That was really bad. But anyways, there's a food fight. Who cares?
And then the food turns real because their imagination is
yeah,
working.
and he's playing with them, which I really hate that the kids are like, this old man's playing with us. They say that constantly. It's like, I don't like it.
That's how you get molested.
Yep. So that's what. Okay. Rufio gets pissed and throws a coconut at Peter, and then Peter has time. Well, someone yells at him, maybe Tink, and then someone also has time to throw him a sword, and then he has time to do a full spin and cut the coconut in half.
Wow, that's called dramatic.
I'm just saying. Stupid. So later in the night, Thud. That's the kid that rolls down the stairs later. His name's Thud.
You know why No Name has his name? Are we at that part yet?
What?
Can we talk about it?
What?
Do you know there's a kid called No Name?
Yeah.
You know why his name's No Name?
Why?
Because Steven Spielberg didn't have a name for him.
Oh, God.
And then eventually he just said, your name's No Name because I don't know your name. And then it just stuck. And so all the other kids started making fun of him, calling him No Name because he didn't have a name. And then it was like, yep, that's it.
That's it.
Print.
Done. Steven Spielberg said he hated working with those fucking kids.
I believe it.
Yeah.
He said they acted up real bad.
Yeah. So anyways, the point of this part is, what did I say his name was? Thud. Oh, he brings up Toodles or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, I have his marbles. Like he really lost his marbles or whatever. Who cares? Take him back to him. Whatever. It's like cool when you're watching the movie, but for like the purpose of explaining it, it's like really a throwaway.
It shows that Neverland was real and that they were like really there as characters. And it wasn't just like
A story. So now Maggie's singing to everyone with 3 question marks is what I wrote. Yeah, that was weird. I hated that. I was like, fast forward. She sings for a long time too. So
there was a lot of dead time in this movie.
This movie's a long.
2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah. So Hook wakes up to the sound of the pocket watch that Peter gave Jack, and he loses his shit. So he takes him to that clock graveyard, is what I called it.
Were they also still sort of working? Some of them?
Like the ones he breaks are perfectly functioning.
Yeah.
But he has Jack
They aren't ticking until they get hit by a fucking baseball bat.
Right.
And then they make all the noise.
Yeah. But he has Jack like smash, including the pocket watch, different watches being like,
prove his loyalty.
My dad never went to my baseball game. He likes my sister better because she's smarter than me and I'm an idiot. Whatever.
Statistically.
Yeah. Oh, but the one thing though, when he's smashing him is Hook's like, your dad didn't save you on the boat. I was like, that's pretty valid. I'd be pretty pissed about that.
Well, unless you've grown up knowing your dad can't fly. My biggest thought about the baseball scene, and I guess Hook's Weird Village in general, is just how many pirates there are that apparently live. I thought, in my understanding of the lore of Peter Pan, it wasn't Tortuga.
Right.
It was just a pirate ship with Hook on it that sailed into Neverland.
But they have like a docking
So
area.
they've got like
and they'll
the whorehouse, they've got
Yes,
the
they do.
blacksmith, they've got
they got
like
a guy that will put like lacquer on your peg legs.
30-foot tall alligator statue.
yeah.
They've got like it's a real ass place. So Hook gets himself together 2 baseball teams where they
One's the pirates.
where they don't play by shooting each other. They play Jack's rules and they play a baseball game to recreate what I assume Shmi. I bet if you pause it somewhere in there and you look like that first baseball scene, you can find a pirate like Shmi or Captain Hook or somebody in the audience watching.
Oh yeah.
And so they tried to recreate that game. My favorite was the Pirates. It's run home Jack, no, make him change, home run Jack, home
Yeah.
run Jack. That's a great part.
Well, and I liked how Hook he removed his hook and they put a baseball glove on.
Yeah.
That was good. Even though he's sitting like behind.
Father of the Year.
Yeah. But Jack's up to bat and he can't hit a curveball.
Can't hit
'cause
shit.
He fucking sucks.
So luckily,
so
Shmi slow pitches it.
But Peter's there because he was going to go steal the hook for fun. Whatever. They just needed him there.
Building confidence.
So he's like watching Jack and he's like, that's my boy, whatever. So Jack like hits his ball into fucking outer space. And Hook's like, I put legitimately happy. Like, I think he literally is happy for Jack.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It seems, Dustin Hoffman is a great actor. It seems very genuine, the feelings.
Yeah. So Peter feels like an idiot and he's like, fuck it. He goes home or whatever to Lost Boy Land and he gets drilled in the head by the baseball.
After he starts trying to jump off shit.
He had to fly. And he sees his young self in the reflection of the water. And then his shadow's like, go find this secret hidey hole where you used to fuck Wendy or whatever in this in Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas.
It's a little crossover.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. But Tink's in there in her full blown ball gown. What am I trying to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a fancy whatever.
Because there are tons of those on Neverland, I assume.
in her size.
Yeah.
Specifically. And this is where he finds like the thimble and like
Tink confesses her love.
not yet.
Fuck me.
And he like remembers it because he finds his teddy and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where he remembers his mom.
And this is
I fucking hate this part.
why? Because she predestines life.
No, it's weird. It's fucking shit. So his mom's this rich bitch, and she's talking to her friend or whatever, and there's like, yes, son's gonna go to Cambridge and fucking whatever. And Peter's in a buggy. He's a baby, an infant.
Pram, they call it in the movie,
Okay, excuse
and
me.
in England.
It's literally like the thing in Ghostbusters when they steal
Yeah,
Oscar.
it's a baby carriage.
Yeah.
We call it a pram.
So he's like, I was afraid of growing up, so I possessed this.
Pram.
Yep, and I ran
Rolled it backwards.
down a hill into the rain, and my mom refused to look for me.
Could not be bothered to turn to her left.
And he's just laying in the rain, and Tink saves him somehow and takes him to Neverland. But here's my question: how the fuck did he age then to become like a 17-year-old?
It's a good question. 10 or 12.
Oh yeah, you're right. But still, if we go from infant to like 12-year-old.
It's like they cap it at 12. I don't know. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Maybe they bring him back. Real?
Nope.
I don't know.
And then he goes back to see his parents who forgot about him and had a new baby because that's. But like, okay, what year is this supposed to be? Because if he's like supposed to be.
The books were in like 1907, 1910, so I assume it's right around the Great War.
I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's like, wasn't that uncommon for kids to die and then you just replace them? That's why people had like 10 kids.
Well, I think that's hurtful from a child's eyes if they're still alive.
I'm just saying. Well, they didn't know that. She didn't bother to look. She didn't want to break a nail.
Well, that was the nurse's job.
Well, anyway.
You have employees for that.
Peter's bored, so he starts going through other people's windows for fucking fun, and that's how he meets Wendy. And then, like I said, she got old, fucks her granddaughter, whatever. Yeah. So he decided to grow up for real because he wanted to be a dad, and that's his happy thought, Jack. And then he starts flying.
So,
Who cares?
low-key, there is something to be said about having a kid as a happy thought. It's very sweet. It's very sentimental when you're a dad and you rewatch the movie. Because sometimes you get busy with life and you forget about the important stuff, and then you think about your kids or you do something with them and you go, oh, this is my happy.
Yeah, until you had to play Lucky Ducks 50 fucking times in a
I'm not
row.
confident what Lucky Ducks is. We play a lot of Project Makeover.
Oh my gosh. So
It's a video game, not a cross-dressing
yeah,
thing.
I got that.
Okay.
Are you saying that for them, not me?
Anybody.
Okay.
I guess. I'm
Well-
just making a declaration now.
Okay. Focus. Lost Boys are pumped. Rufio's like, here, Pan, you can have your sword back, which is a big thing we didn't even talk about earlier. And they start like
Because apparently
crowing.
the Pan is a heretical title and not about Peter himself.
He's also a fucking dreamboat to everybody but me for some reason.
What, Peter or Rufio?
Peter, everyone's obsessed with him.
Well, that's because they
Throughout.
shaved his chest.
So anyways, Tinkerbell's sad because Peter's like regressed too far and he doesn't even know he fucking has kids. So how the fuck is he flying if his happy thought is his kids that he doesn't remember now? Thank you.
I think you're putting too much thought into the plot
I
of
told you.
this movie.
Oh my god. Okay. So anyways, so Tink randomly explodes her house and becomes full size. This is the part you were going to talk about.
Where she confesses her love for Peter.
And it's so uncomfortable. And she's like, now I'm finally big enough to do what I wanted to do.
Big girl thoughts. I've
Yeah.
had big girl thoughts. I used to be a little girl with little girl thoughts, but I'm a big girl with big girl thoughts and body parts
I hate it.
for big girl stuff.
And then she was like, I love you, Peter. And he's like, I love her. And she's like, who? Because she's like, you're going to say me. And he's like, my wife.
Good Christian man.
And then she immediately explodes like back into being
Everything.
small.
Broken hearted.
It's really weird. So she's like, don't worry about me. Go save your kids. I'm small again anyways. So the Lost Boys get ready for battle and Jack is dressed like Hook. I love it.
It's a good costume.
I love it.
It's a good costume.
And Hook's going to go pierce his ear. By the way, he's like, this is going to hurt. It doesn't. Piercing your ears
Really?
does not hurt. No, like your lobe, it's like there's nothing there.
Feels
Like cartilage,
getting-
this thing up here fucking hurt.
Really?
My nose didn't hurt because it didn't go through cartilage. There's like a little spot that you go through. My belly button didn't hurt.
Really?
Really?
I don't know anything about piercing.
Well, anyway. So Pan comes in, whatever. Jack's like, who the fuck's that? It's been 3 whole days. I don't recognize my own damn dad.
Neverland is a weird place for memories.
It's a weird, yeah.
Going to Neverland is basically like going to Alzheimer's and seeing what happens while you're there.
Well, and then he's like, Jack, let's go home. And he's like, I am home with Granddaddy Hook or whatever. And
Daddy Hook.
Daddy, it's literally Can't think. Like Mini-Me and Dr. Evil.
Yes.
Yes.
It is 1,000% like Mini-Me from Dr. Evil.
Yes. So that rap in the jailhouse, it's like my favorite thing. So it's hard knock. Okay. Anyways, I also say, where the hell has Maggie been for 3 days? And
Turns out, locked in a tower.
He doesn't even look for her. He's just like, I got Jack. She'll be fine. And then finally she's like, hey, Dad, Mom would have fucking saved me 3 days ago.
Well, she is a girl, so she's not carrying on the family name.
Oh,
so
yeah,
she clearly
yeah.
has a lower heretical.
So anyways, Peter's fighting all the pirates. And Jack's like, I kind of think that might be my dad.
I recognize that strange man in green who looks like me from somewhere.
And Peter's like, Jack, you're my happy thought. I love you. And then he gets caught in a net. And he's like, oh, that's my dad.
So, a couple fun facts here. First of all, the original, I want to say Shmi, wasn't the actor that it was the guy from Jurassic Park, John Hammond.
Oh, yes. I knew that
and
one.
the kid from Jurassic Park Jack was supposed to be the kid from Jurassic Park.
Yep.
And so Steven Spielberg, apparently, if you go and do a casting call for him, will just say, next movie.
Right.
And then skip you over this one and put you in the highest grossing film.
That's
of all
my
time.
next job. So
That's good.
So this is the chicken part. There's like an actual chicken on the egg thing, too. It's like
I can
actively...
never tell if it's an actual chicken or if it's a stuffed chicken or something.
Well, I'm saying it's supposed to be a real
Yeah.
chicken.
Yeah.
Like in
Yep.
I don't, but they're shooting eggs and marbles and things. This is when Thud rolls down the stairs. Would you like to discuss that?
I think it was the least fat supportive joke where they just like
He's the blueberry girl from Willy Wonka.
something like that, and they just like put him and he rolls his legs up by his fucking ears and he just rolls down a staircase.
He does
and then
it twice.
And then he gets kind of dizzy and then he goes, "Oh, more people run up a gangplank. Better run over." I don't understand how the pirates all have swords and shit, and then the Lost Boys kind of blind them with mirrors. Or
Paint
throw
or whatever.
tomatoes at
Yeah.
their faces, or shoot paint at them, and then suddenly they're so disabled they're basically dead.
I think it's like a hesitation, like as an adult, if a 6-year-old to 12-year-old was attacking you, would you just chop their head off?
Yes,
Okay, so...
but it's like I don't know. It doesn't. I mean, I guess because you can't have the kids try to kill people.
the only one that... Rufio, but he's like, what, 17 or something?
Rufio's like 14. He's like an old.
Yeah.
But like,
He's only adult in room.
it has always been weird to me that they didn't like fight back in any meaningful way. They just kind of were technically.
Because if they kill all the Lost Boys, too, like, what fun will they have? It's like, you got to keep the...
I thought they left the Neverland. I didn't know they were just constantly in port. I don't know.
Because remember, he's like, what would Neverland be without Hook?
This is true. Maybe just said, "Wow, what would Neverland be without the Indians?" We clearly left them out in this movie.
I don't know. So Smee starts sticking valuables down his pants in a panic. I love
says,
it.
"Do something, Shmi."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so Shmi's like, well,
What about
this?
Smee? Yeah.
I'm taking my money.
And they finally find Maggie. This is like halfway through the battle. And she's like, oh, you're my dad. I'm not an idiot like my brother. I totally know who my parents are. And then Rufio and Hook are sword fighting because Peter's like kind of paying attention to his daughter. And Rufio gets super cocky and gets stabbed right in the heart. Kind of like Oberyn in Game of Thrones with his eyeballs. Psh.
Huh?
Okay.
All right. Game of Thrones technically existed.
Yep. So Rufio dies, and he's like, I wish I had a dad like you, Pan. I was like,
Oh,
well, if you did, you wouldn't be dead right now.
Great. Possibly my last fun fact. I don't know. I'm kind of committed to these to memory, and they might just pop out randomly. For that scene, to make it look like Rufio had the sword pulled out of him, they had him say his lines, "I wish I had a dad like you," backwards. So they rewrote him lines so his lips would do it in reverse, and then they played it backwards so it looks like he's saying it.
That's interesting.
I'm not sure why that all was necessary, but apparently it was very much necessary.
Don't doubt Steven.
I never would.
So Hook's like, okay, Pan, let's fight. And Jack's like, Dad, I'm ready to go home finally. And Hook's like, I'm fucking confused. This was really weird. And then Peter takes his kids and goes to leave. And Hook's like threatening him. He's like,
I'll follow you anywhere you go.
All your grandkids.
All your grandkids, your great-grandkids. You'll never be able to sleep a peaceful night.
He has magical powers. Hook has to have some magical powers. Yes.
I mean, it did take him 40 years to escape.
I'm just saying, he just like, and he knew he had kids. He knew where he was. He knew
Or
all
it
that
took him 40
shit.
years to find him.
Well, I think maybe you have to be at that house. Maybe something with a window.
You think it's because
specifically.
Hook can't cross the Atlantic, so he had to wait till Peter came to
I think it's
England?
Winnie's house is magical.
I haven't read the original 1907 book.
I haven't either.
But
Maybe I will. So, okay, so they start fighting, and Pan wins, obviously. Big who cares. But the kids are like, don't be a murderer, Dad. Like, just let him go. So Peter's like, okay, Hook, you can go. Like, you're gonna leave us alone or whatever. And Hook shoots a dagger out of his sleeve.
I like to give me my pride back. Give me my hat back.
Oh yeah, because it's
bald.
wig. Yeah. So Tink saves the day again.
And then he shoots the dagger out of his sleeve, and then Peter like does a looky-loo turnaround thing and like hooks the alligator who is alive, isn't alive.
Also is a clock.
But is the
It's
alligator's
possessed.
dead and stuffed with a clock in its mouth, or is it the alligator is like tied up with the 2x6s with a
alligator
clock in its mouth?
I have the alligator is possessed.
Okay.
I
Third option.
Well, because the thing falls, it opens its mouth. It's
opens
making
its
all
mouth.
sorts of noises. It falls on
And then
Hook,
like he sucks up in it
and it burps. It's odd.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Okay, so they all fly home. Pan's like, bye, Lost Boys. I'm going to put Thud in charge because that makes sense.
Well, that was like affirmative action.
Yeah. And they're back at Wendy's house, and instead of waking their mom up, these fucking kids get into bed, and they're like, she looks like an angel. Let's not bother her. We've only been missing for God knows how long because I don't know how time works with this situation.
Mom's barely scared. It's fine.
And then she's like, I dream that they're in bed, so I'm not going to fucking confirm. It's weird.
I don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, so whatever. She's like, oh, cool. They're alive or whatever. And Peter's asleep outside like a homeless person.
And then Peter's out, and then
Smeeze.
Mr. Schmeez randomly there.
Cleaning.
Which I think is trying to imply there's a dream, but then the rest of them are like Toodles and the Marbles and all that shit. It's it clearly wasn't a dream. So was it a dream, or did Schmeez just say, fuck this, never without my lover?
I think he stole his shit and left, maybe.
You think he just abandoned ship and was like, I'm going to go clean up bullshit and stare at Peter Pan?
Maybe.
Was it a time for a sequel? And then Steven Spielberg was like, no.
They kind of set it up like it could be a sequel.
That was so the writer originally, because like there are a bunch of people trying to write Peter Pan movies to do a modern one.
Yeah.
And he was trying to figure out how to write it. And one of his kids was like, well, what if Hook lived? And then what if Peter Pan got old? And so he was like, that's a good idea, children. Let's write that one.
Right. And he fucking hates his kids. Like, I hate you. Oh, wait, what?
And then apparently he hates his children. And
yeah. So anyways, Tink can't let go of her love for Pan. And then I said, maybe dies?
No, she's in that space between when he's half asleep and half awake, and he's in a dreamlike state. He'll think of her. Have you ever been half awake, like in a dream, but then like you're kind of like, oh, I think I know what's going on, and then you just don't?
Yeah, but what does that mean for her?
I don't know.
Spiritually, I guess. Or
in her mental health?
She's the ghost in Ghostbusters that tries to have sex with what's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I like the
yeah.
So Peter's off his rocker is basically, and he scales a building instead of just going through the front door. Yeah, and he's like attacked.
He's just excited.
He goes in the doghouse.
He's just excited to be here.
And then he makes out with his wife.
Well, and then he finds his cell phone and then keeps it.
He digs it up.
And then he takes it upstairs and then he makes out with his wife and then he throws his cell phone into the abyss.
There's a lot of the cell phone. That probably cost him a lot of money to do all that cell phone shit.
I would guess that the cell phone is emblematic of the modern age or something.
Yeah.
And like,
how you're not focused on your kids.
Focusing on your kids. And so that's why it plays a role. But now, like, everybody's on their cell phone 24/7.
Including the kids.
So, like, it doesn't resonate as much because everybody's like, well, he's barely using his cell phone. He's taking, like, a call every 2 hours.
Yeah, and he's using it as a gunslinger.
He loves his kids.
He fucking loves them.
Like, you're on Twitter all day or
yes.
whatever.
So he gives...
Love your children. Give them a hug. Shout out now for Shout of the Week.
He gives Toodles his marbles back, and Toodles starts flying away to Neverland. Mm-hmm. Second star on the...
Second star on the left and straight until morning.
Yep. Because they leave like the second star shining or whatever.
Yeah.
The end.
The end.
Horrible.
Sort of. It's a dark and depressive movie. I don't think we really covered it in the synopsis, but like...
It's awkwardly sexual,
It's
too.
kind of like, what if you wanted to see Robin Williams just depressed as shit, sad, not an alcoholic necessarily, angry, like playing against his trope, and then like kind of shows up as Peter Pan 2 hours into the movie.
Yeah.
Hook's kind of there an hour into the movie.
Even though he's like the best character by far.
The Lost Boys are there technically for like 5 hours of a 2 hour movie when they could have done 20 minutes.
We could have gone without Maggie completely, the daughter.
I think I don't know.
She was like, I'm saying they just threw her away for half the movie.
She's not a key plot point.
Yeah.
But you could do that in the 90s.
It's true.
If you made the movie today, Jack would be a throwaway character and Maggie would be a softball lesbian.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I would have watched that.
It was different. It's good.
I love this movie.
I
It's a
loved this
classic.
movie as a kid. I would watch it all the time.
Same.
I enjoyed every once in a while as an adult. It's weirdly
It hits.
sexual.
It's very weirdly.
It's very sexual. You get a lot of weird love triangle, hexagons, whatever.
And the wife like does.
is none of them.
Yeah. It's really. Something.
And then the Hook and I must
Yeah.
have known as a kid like Hook and Shmi were like special friends.
Because when they're doing that dinner scene and he's like taking his boots off and getting him ready for bed
like
and stuff.
rub my feet for me.
Yeah. Oh, did you notice he has a double cigar thing?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Dude, the movie's great.
Anyways,
It's good. It's different. It hits different as a parent.
it made a good episode.
It made a good episode, which we really appreciate. Subscribe,
Yeah,
like,
all
and
the
subscribe.
things.
Please share.
We have a Patreon.
Go to Patreon. We'll pick the first person to suggest a movie. Any movie we'll do,
Yeah.
even if it's the Mario and Luigi movie.
Oh my God. Yes.
So
There you go.
please get weird and suggest something creepy if you're our first Patreon. I like it. It's weird. I don't think I'd watch it alone at this point without Ted.
Right.
I think I'd watch with him. I'm not sure it's not going to be designated to a background movie for me.
Right.
I don't know. How'd it do for you?
A lot of nostalgia.
Lot
Like
of
there were
nostalgia.
scenes where I was like, oh yeah, I remember this as a kid, like thinking like, oh my God, I want to go on the skateboard thing.
I want to be a Rufio Triple Hawk.
Yeah.
I'm going to dye my hair pink instead of purple.
But yeah,
Missed opportunity.
I liked it. And I don't know. It's good acting and everything, but
It's great acting.
yeah, like it's just a really,
6 Academy Award winners.
yeah,
3 Academy Award nominees.
there you go.
Fun fact number 38.
It's also really fucking weird and there's a lot of plot holes. I'm too detail oriented.
You
like,
are too detail
like
oriented.
watching it to take notes was really difficult.
I could believe that. Well, if you think about it logically, there's a couple like confusing. I'm not detail oriented, clearly. But I've always liked it. I've always enjoyed it. I've always thought it was good. I've always thought like the weird stuff in it is cool.
Yeah.
I like the Swiss Family Robinson because I like seeing the house they build. You know, so
Yeah, yeah.
like for that part, like the cool town, the pirate stuff.
Yeah.
Because they haven't had like a really good Pirates of the Caribbean movie by then in 1991.
Yeah.
So you're still kind of seeing shit you've never thought about. And it's good and
The
interesting.
Muppets Treasure Island.
Don't
I got cabin fever.
love
It's
the Muppets
burning in
Trash-
my brain.
Love the trouble.
I got cabin fever. It's driving me insane.
I'll tell you what we're gonna do is my pick is gonna be Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, you gotta wait until Christmas.
I know, but that is
Yes.
my all-time favorite Christmas movie.
Okay.
It's good though. I like it. It's good. It's different. It's different every time you watch it. If
Yeah.
you watch it every 5 years, you will pick up something different.
Just wait until you're 90 and you're Wendy's age.
Ugh, can't even imagine.
You're gonna be like, what the fuck? I remember when I was in love with the 20-year-old that didn't age.
Why isn't anybody naming a hospital wing after me? What bullshit is this?
Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about it, but when they present the hospital wing, it's just like a box building with her name just stuck on the side of it.
They spent their budget on a lot of other stuff.
That whole
Well, like they had to do Hook's whole like cool ass lake thing in his ship model
Yeah.
of Neverland. Like
yeah,
that can't be cheap.
and it just set fire to it.
Yeah, it was cool as shit.
We're
as
just
a
talking
kid.
about stuff we didn't even cover, but
No, well, like people know.
yeah,
I mean,
whatever. If you haven't seen this,
if you haven't seen Hook,
this is
go
not the
see
podcast for
Hook.
you.
But if you have seen Hook, you know what I'm talking about. That's just such good acting.
Yeah.
It's just such good acting that makes up for the fact that the Lost Boys are in it.
Yeah,
That's how
there's
we
too many
categorize
Lost
this.
Boys too, I think.
What would you have given this in 1990, whatever, one?
Oh, I love this movie. Well, okay, I was 6 months old when it came out, but as
As a
a
kid.
kid, I like 10. I love this movie.
10? I'd probably go 9. I don't know. Like, it was good. 10, I'd probably go like
Oh God.
7.
Oh,
6?
I'm lower than that. I'm like
Are you
5.
really?
Yeah.
Why 5?
It's weird. There's a lot of weird. It's a long movie for a lot to not be explained.
It's a long movie for like.
They just picked scenes and they're like, we're just gonna randomly do these and then smush them together. I want a baseball game. Okay.
There's like a weird paint fetish in this movie that I don't get. They're gonna shoot
Yeah.
people with paint. They're gonna jump into paint lakes. I don't understand the paint. They're gonna food fight with paint.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like I don't know if that's supposed to be bullet. I don't know.
There's a lot of weird. It's
weird.
difficult.
You can't if you're a kid and you can suspend reality, you will enjoy it. As is the tradition. If you like Dustin Hoffman or
Yes.
Robin Williams or both, Steven Spielberg hates the movie.
Yes.
It's his least favorite movie.
Yes.
When Robin Williams killed himself, he watched it as a tribute and said he couldn't make it through half of it without sobbing. He had to turn it off.
Oh.
But it's not like a good. It's good. It's good. It's worth seeing.
Go watch it.
If you haven't seen it before, see it again. Can't recommend it enough. But like,
It's also weird.
suspend a little reality.
Yeah.
It's not a timeless classic.
No.
It's a nostalgia classic.
Nothing from the 90s is timeless. It's all nostalgia.
That's actually probably.
Yeah.
What is the closest? Men in Black?
Yeah.
Probably. That's just a good movie.
I know. We'll get there.
We'll
we
get
gotta
there.
we gotta go back into
We
the
gotta
70s.
go back. We literally did this to do pre 1980s, and we've done one pre 1980s.
We're going next time.
We're doing 87.
No, next time it's the same as Jaws. I looked it up.
No, you looked up
Oh no,
Monty Python.
Oh yeah, I did.
You didn't look up
duh.
Princess Bride.
Damn it. Okay.
Princess Bride's 87.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's so good, and I cannot
I'm
wait.
so excited.
I'm excited, and you're not going to ruin it with your bullshit, your detail-oriented
No,
nonsense.
I love this movie. Don't worry about it.
It's a quote fest.
I'm excited.
It's a top 5 movie.
Sure. It's gonna be a long episode.
Top 10. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
I could probably just do it right now off the top of my head, to be
know,
honest.
right?
So it'll be tough. And I fucking love Billy Crystal. So it'll be good.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was
Hook.
I'm
like, what did we just? I had to look at my picture.
No, I thought we were going back and forth. I thought we were doing a Witty Banner thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Focus.
That was seriously again. Do we need to do a countdown?
Wait.
Why don't you do it and I'll say it?
Am I saying the movie or am I saying the show name?
We'll start with the movie and we'll work our way. Come on,
Okay,
just read off.
you do.
Well, that was
Hook.
And it was a great
Movie.
And this has been the
Trash Panda.
Movie Club, and we appreciate your
Listening
support
and stuff.
Yeah, sign up on Patreon, please.
We're on a lot of the things.
We're on a lot of the
wise.
things, and we're trying to be involved.
I make all the posts though.
Yeah, and if you hate them, blame Maria because I would like to take them over, but I'm afraid I'll be offensive with just yelling.
I'm gonna give him Twitter though.
Do Twitter, and then I'll help, and I'll just yell at random people.
Yeah,
and hopefully that is supportive in some possible fucking way. I don't know why.
It'll be fine.
All right, great.
Find all the things.
How do those My Favorite Murder Gals do it? They have a Facebook page or something?
Probably.
We don't want to do that.
Whatever. We
All
have.
right,
We
we'll
have.
figure it
It's
out.
out there. Just
Do
find
we?
it. Yeah, I made it.
A Facebook page?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll go to our Facebook page. I didn't know we had it, but it's super great.
Jack's not a part of any of it.
And
so.
the Facebook page is...
We have followers. Jack is not one of them.
Oh, shit. This is
Professional.
So fun. Oh, my God. I hope this all stays in.
Oh, you know it will.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, go to our Facebook page for sure. It's a phenomenal Facebook page called
I think it's just Trash Panda Movie Club.
Trash Panda Movie Club.
I think. Well, and I think I had to change some of them to TP Movie Club, which.
The point is, you can find the logo. It's the one with the pandas and the 3D glasses. The panda with the 3D glasses.
Eating popcorn.
He's having a good time.
It's labeled clearly.
It's labeled clearly. And next week we're doing The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
No thought, no commitment, no whatever. It's just all in.
Yep.
I might watch this one twice.
I will.
Allie
likes this movie
honestly,
too.
I might watch it tonight with Ted.
Yeah. Allie likes this movie a lot.
Oh, I love this movie. This is so good.
Okay, say bye.
Bye.
Bye. But you'll laugh at this. So my mom's cell phone number, she wanted it to be our original house number.
Ooh.
So she still has my childhood house number as her cell phone number.
Somebody can call 402-474-1113 and see what happens. I don't even know. Let's have an event.
I'm I'll check it and be I need to crop this out. It's a sex hotline.
You can even, yeah. I can tell you my neighborhood best friend's number.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Right? We're never going to get through this.
No, we aren't.
We're just giving out phone numbers at this point.
Yeah.
So if you want to contact... Oh, my God. Okay.
If you want to call my ex-wife, her cell phone is...
Right.
I don't know about you, but I'm actually afraid.
We're not even in London yet.
I'm trying to give you B-roll.
Okay, got it.
We are... I mean, you can put all this in.
Look at your levels, though. Very proud of you.
This is the best level I've been all day. I feel on point.
And he's teaching the children or whatever. They're at school and he's why do parents hate their kids? This was my favorite part. I was this is accurate. This is what I was talking about in the beginning. If you pay attention to me.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, I'll pause.
I have a different job.
I'll pause.
Oh, sweet trunks.
Do you want me to start over?
Don't listen to Jurassic Park. It was our worst episode.
Look at this text from my mom.
You're her happy thought.
Can I sidetrack? I had a dream last night about this movie, and I had a dream that Wendy hung herself at the end because she was so heartbroken.
It's
right on a chandelier or whatever in the middle of that building.
Which Wendy? The wife
grandma,
Wendy
grandma
or the
Wendy.
Grandma Wendy?
Grandma Wendy.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was really fucked up. So anyway,
fucking
I was
dark.
kind of thinking to myself, I was did that happen in this movie or did I
don't-
dream that?
What? It's dark.
Thanks for listening to Trash Panda Movie Club.
It was trash and filled with pandas.